All right, we are live. I'm going to give it a moment for everything to catch up. We are live in the Facebook group. We are live on my personal page, and we are also live on YouTube. Yeah, cool. One more minute before our members start to stream in, and I can see people over there in the Facebook group. Hey guys. I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds and we are going to get started. I have to apologize in advance. I am sick. I know. It's like it's going around. My husband got me sick. So, what are you going to do? Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to Tuesday Live. I'm so excited that you are here. For those of you who don't know who I am and what this is, I am Dr. Kimberly West, and I run a little Facebook group called the Business of Artificial Intelligence. And there we talk about artificial intelligence and how to use it in our businesses. We do business strategy and so many other different things. And we talk a lot about a lot of different things. And every Tuesday, I go live in our Facebook group and I do a mini training. I also do some updates, and let's see if there's a particular technology that's coming out that everybody needs to know about, then I talk about that. So it's a very, very loose kind of Tuesday afternoon. So for those of you who are on the East Coast, good afternoon. For those of you who are on the West Coast, good morning. Let's see, we have a lot of things that are going on in our Facebook group. So for the next 5 weeks, so that you can get a taste of what happens in the business of artificial intelligence, I am going to publicly show our Tuesday live broadcasts. And if you'd like to join us for the rest of the year, I would absolutely love it. It is February, and for us, February is the beginning of the new year. It's my birth month, so there's a lot going on in the group. We have trainings that are happening. We have discussions that are happening. We have prompts. In fact, today's Tuesday, so I have to do a prompt of the week. That will be coming in just about an hour. So for those of you who are on the broadcast, put your questions in the thread. And if I don't have an opportunity to answer them during the live, I'll answer them as soon as it's over. I'll go back and answer them. So let's start. Let's get started with our need to know. And that's the section where, if there's a technology, you can't hear me. Let's see. Can anybody hear me? Okay, so I just checked it. Lynn, you may need to check your settings because I think I can hear myself on the live. If anyone else cannot, okay, so someone else is saying that they hear me. Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So first section for today is the need to know. And in need to know, we cover technology or technological advances, things that are happening that as business owners, we absolutely need to know. And it doesn't always have to revolve around artificial intelligence. It can be just something that's a business strategy. It can be something that's business technology. So there's something very hot that's coming, and we've been talking about it for a little while. I say hello to, hey, thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Stephanie. Something that's been coming down the pipeline, and we were notified about it last year in like August or so. And there are major changes coming to Google and Yahoo email for business owners. So you guys know the majority of us who are business owners, we have a mailing list, and you get emails from us periodically on that email list. Well, there is a whole science behind how to send them and the security behind how to send them and when you receive them as an end user. So Google and Yahoo are making major changes, or they have made major changes to the way that we authenticate those emails and the way that you receive them as an end user. So what's happening? We're going to discuss the upcoming changes in email deliverability rules, and they're being implemented again by Google and Yahoo. Now, these changes are designed to improve the security and reliability of email communications. It focuses pretty much on large scale senders, basically people who send 5,000 emails a day. But at the same time, even as a small business owner, you want to make sure that you're in compliance with these rules as well, because it's going to help more of your emails actually reach the people that you're trying to reach when you're sending out these bulk emails. So what's happening? Google and Yahoo are introducing new email deliverability rules to enhance email security and reduce spam and malicious content. So if you're like everybody else, your regular inbox, you get a lot of spam. Sometimes it goes to your spam folder, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get a lot of emails that, people are trying to catfish you, people are trying to scam you. There's a lot going on in email. So what Google and Yahoo are trying to do is cut down on the number of those emails that actually make it to you. So in order to do that, we have to put some additional security measures in place. And these, again, are the people who are sending the emails. If you're receiving these emails, you don't have to do anything at all. Google and Yahoo are going to take care of it for you. But if you are sending the emails, if you have something like ClickFunnels, if you have Entreport, if you have ActiveCampaign, or even Groove, or any of the Kartra, or in Kajabi, any of the mechanisms that send emails to large numbers of people, this is for you. So what's happening? We already told you. When is it happening? It is happening on February 1st. Yeah, today's Tuesday, the 30th. So basically the day after tomorrow, this all goes into effect. So why is it happening? Basically, again, Google and Yahoo are trying to safeguard email users from unwanted and potentially harmful content, and make sure that the emails that you're receiving as one of their customers is both authentic and relevant. And the thing is, even though it's only Google and Yahoo that are implementing these changes, everyone is going to benefit. So if you have what AOL, I know there are still people who have AOL. If you have an AOL email, they're going to benefit. So if you have Outlook email, that's going to benefit. So this is universally actually a good thing, even though it's going to take a little bit of work for us business owners. So you may ask the question then, what exactly is authentication? Because that's what we're talking about, the email authentication. Email authentication is a critical process that's used to verify a user's identity and make sure that the email that they're sending is not forged or altered. So I'm sure you've seen some instances of phishing or even nefarious uses of email where someone has stolen or hijacked someone else's email address and started sending emails as if they're that person. This particular protocol that's going into effect is going to greatly reduce the instance of that. So email authentication. So we're going to get very quickly into the tech stuff. So if you're a business owner and you use one of the email sending platforms, this is what you have to do. You have to make sure that your SPF, which is your sender policy framework, has been validated. You also need to make sure that your DKIM, your domain keys identify mail, is also authenticated. And then we are also talking about your DMARC, which is your domain-based message authentication. Now, for the majority of you, all of that was absolute Greek. None of it made any sense. If you are a member, if you're in my Facebook group, my free Facebook group, we will do a deep dive into that. Don't worry. In fact, I have a document for you that is going to walk you through almost everything that you need to do. If you're not a member of my Facebook group, then it's time that you become one. So go to the Business of Artificial Intelligence, join us, and you will be able to get the documentation that I'm giving to all of my members so that they can be compliant. So with all of this, all these changes that are going on now, who is it that needs to be compliant? As we said earlier, entities who send 5,000 emails a day. Now, those are some pretty big guys. If you're sending 5,000 emails a day, you absolutely must be in compliance. If you don't send 5,000 emails a day, you don't have to be in compliance right now. I mean, there's kind of like a gray area. Some people say yes, some people say no. If you go to Google's website, it says that people who are sending 5,000 emails a day or more have to be in compliance. But here's the thing. Eventually, it's going to roll downhill to all of us, probably. So why not get ahead of the curve? Make sure that all of your email accounts, make sure that your email sending accounts are in compliance. So how do we do that? Again, the document will be uploaded in my Facebook group. The other thing that we have to do, and this applies to everyone, is to facilitate easy unsubscription. So many people have received emails and you're on all of these newsletters and all of these email lists, and you just want to get off. You don't want to get these emails from people anymore. So how do you unsubscribe? For a lot of people, it's really difficult to find the unsubscribe button. It's hidden sometimes in an email, sometimes it's hidden on their website. Well, Google and Yahoo have decided that we have to make it easy for people to unsubscribe from our mailing lists. And that means that we have to have a button right there in the email where they can just click it, go to the unsubscribe link, and they're able to very easily, within 2 clicks, I believe it is, within 2 clicks, be able to unsubscribe from an email list. Now, some of you may have to do some retooling of your email configuration in order to let that happen. But again, it's to make life easier for the consumer. There's also one other regulation. When someone unsubscribes, you have 2 days as the business owner, you have 2 days, just 2 days, to make sure that that person is now off your list. Now, the system that I use, once someone unsubscribes, they're automatically unsubscribed and they're automatically off the list. It doesn't take 2 days. It's instantaneous as soon as they unsubscribe. So make sure that you are using one of the more reputable bulk email senders, and that's what we call them, bulk email senders. And there are dozens of them online. If you wanted to know any information about them, just ping me, drop me a line, drop me a note, put a comment here in the section, and I'll be able to tell you which ones are the best ones for you to use to make sure that you remain in compliance. Another point of compliance is having a low spam complaint rate. Now, those of us who send bulk email, whenever somebody complains that we're sending spam, so if you're in Gmail and you get an email and someone clicks, "This is spam," it actually goes back to our bulk email sender and it tells our bulk email sender that this has been construed as spam. So you're like, oh man, you are graded on how many of those requests or how many of those tags you get. So someone is always keeping track. The internet is always keeping track. You have to keep your spam complaint rates under 0.3%, not 3%, but 0.3, 0.3% of the emails that you send out or lower have to be spam complaints. And that's really, really low. But here's the thing. It used to be 0.2. So now it's 0.3. So they're kind of giving us a little bit of a break. So what happens if you don't institute all of these great new things that are going on with email? Excuse me again, I'm sorry, I'm having a terrible cold. If you don't go in and change your settings in your bulk email sender and become compliant, then basically your emails are going to go to spam directly, or even worse, they're going to be rejected. And again, this is automatic for those who are sending 5,000 emails a day or more. But at the same time, like I said, why even tempt fate? So go in, make the changes to your bulk email sender so that you are compliant with these new Google and Yahoo rules. And again, those of you in the Facebook group, the Business of Artificial Intelligence, I'll have a document for you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So before I move on, are there any questions? Because we have a mini training. I'm going to do a really short mini training on cybersecurity, basics, very basic cybersecurity for people who are business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, etc. We sometimes tend to be really lax about cybersecurity. So what is cybersecurity? It's basically the protection of yourself while you are online, protection of you, your identity, your data, your computer or your Mac, your phones, everything. Anything that touches a cyber entity, anything that touches the internet does need to be secured. It needs to be safeguarded. So what's the first thing that you need to do when it comes to cybersecurity? Make sure you have strong passwords. Using your date of birth, using your baby's name, using your middle name, all of these things, using the city that you were born in, all of these things can be hacked. So you want to make sure that you have strong passwords. You want to make sure that they are, I use phrases. I don't even use just a password. I use phrases that are multi digits long, and they're more difficult to crack that way. You want to make sure that you have these things, and you also want to make sure that, I know you're going to hate me for this. You also want to make sure that you're not using the same password over and over and over again. Oh, I know. I hate that. Uh, at one point, I had one password and I used it across everything, and I got hacked. It's very easy for people to hack you when you do that. So what I've done now is I use a password keeper. I use LastPass, and yes, I know that they got hacked as well, but it's not nearly as bad as some of the other hacks. But I use a password keeper, and for every website that I belong to, and I belong to hundreds of websites, for every website that I belong to, I have a different password. And LastPass keeps a track of all those passwords for me. In fact, they will generate the passwords. They will scramble the letters and the numbers and the hashtags and the special symbols and all that other stuff. So I have a link for you guys. If you want to go and take a look at LastPass, or if you have it already, that's a beautiful thing. So strong passwords is the number one thing that you want to do. The second thing that you want to do is enable two-factor authentication. Now, I know it's a hassle. I know it's a real pain in the butt that you have, two-factor authentication. Either go back to your phone and get a code, or you have the authenticator app on your phone and you're doing it that way. But having two-factor authentication in addition to the strong passwords makes it even much more difficult for people to hack you. Now, we're talking about especially on your finances. If you have a brokerage account, if you have your bank accounts, anything that has to do with money, please make sure you have strong passwords and two-factor authentication. Something else that you need to do, number 3, regular software updates. Now, we're finding that people don't always update their software when they're supposed to. Yes. And the problem with that is that when you don't update your software, you leave holes in the software that, little egghead people who are good hackers like me can actually exploit and find their way through. So you want to try and keep your software up to date. Anytime that there's an update, and you guys, if you're an Apple user and you have an iPhone, you know this. You want to make sure that your iPhones are updated. You want to make sure that your Windows is updated. You want to make sure all of your operating systems are updated. Whatever you're using on your phones and on your computers, please make sure that you have your software is up to date. Number 4, which most people would think should be number 1, antivirus software. And again, this list will be posted in the Facebook group, The Business of Artificial Intelligence. Even though we're not talking about artificial intelligence, we're still talking about safeguarding your resources as a business owner. Number 4, antivirus software. We already know. Somebody sends you an email, it's got a virus on it, you open it and you're doing whatever. The next thing you know, you're getting either the blue screen of death or somebody sending you a ransom email. Don't put yourself out there. You need to have antivirus software on your computer. Now, firewalls. Firewalls are basically, think of it as the Great Wall of China that keeps riffraff out, keeps digital riffraff out. So your antivirus protects you against viruses that come into your computer. Firewall basically keeps people from being able to find your IP address, which is the social security number for your computer, find your IP address and basically tunnel in and take over your computer. And I've seen that happen a bunch of times. You need to have the antivirus software as well as the firewall to really, really be secure. And I'll be honest, there's no system that's impenetrable. There's no such thing as a system that nobody can get through. Because let's face it, the DoD's been hacked. Banks have been hacked. Security companies have been hacked. And, you've got to be extremely good. But the average hacker, as long as you have these safeguards in place, it's going to be really, really hard for them to get to you. Number 6, something that people don't do very often, and I think we talked about this in the Facebook group, is back up your data. The same way we have backups in corporate America, if you're in the IT department, you guys know about backups. Make sure you're backing up your data on your computer, on your laptop, on your phone, on your Mac, on your iPad, on your iPod. No, they don't have iPods anymore. Or on your tablet. And here's a really cool thing about backing up your data, especially on your computer. If you back up your data and you get a new computer, you can actually restore a copy of all your data, all of your files, all of your graphics, all of your videos, et cetera, to your new computer. Instead of having to, put stuff on a thumb drive or even, all the different ways of migrating all that data over. But you also want to make sure that you have a backup just in case something happens to your laptop. And I'll tell you, a few years ago, I had a laptop, I had an HP, I'm working on it. And the next thing I know, it just died. And I have no idea what happened to it. I couldn't turn it back on. I took it to, well, I did the troubleshooting myself. I couldn't get it to come back on. I tried to harvest the hard drive, and the hard drive was fried. So basically, I'm thinking it came down to an electrical issue. So the thing is, I had been backing up my computer on a regular basis. And the last time it was backed up was probably about 2 hours before it died. I was literally able to go out, buy a brand new laptop, restore my backup from a couple of hours ago, and I was literally back up and running within 60 minutes. Now, if I did not have that backup, if you don't have that backup, how do you get to your data? Now, backups can be either physical, or you can also do a backup to the cloud. And there's a service that I use. Again, I will have all the links and put all the links into the chat, as well as upload them into the Facebook group. But making sure that you have a backup of your data is the thing that can save you. Don't only back up the data on your computer, also back up the data on your phone. All of those pictures that you have, all of those videos that you've taken. Think about it. How often do we lose our phones? You're on vacation, you're having a good time, you're on a boat. The next thing you know, your iPhone, just slips off the boat. And actually that happened to somebody this week. iPhone slips off the boat. Okay. You have everything backed up. Yes, I'm sure you have everything backed up in the iCloud, right? Right? I'm going to say it again. You have everything backed up in the iCloud, right? But if you don't, making sure that you have that backup of your data on your phone ensures that you are not going to lose it. And you're not at the mercy of Apple to get to it later on. And you can basically restore it to another iPhone, or you can restore it to an Android, or you can restore it to wherever you want to. Let's see. What's the next one? Secure Wi-Fi networks. So you guys know I love to travel. And when you're in an airport, airports have Wi-Fi networks. You can just log on to the free Wi-Fi network and, kind of be on there and you're doing your stuff. So this brings us to two things. It's actually the Wi-Fi network, and it's also about VPNs. Number one, do not ever, 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 ever go onto a public Wi-Fi network, like at the airport, like at Starbucks, like at the library, or any place else that's basically not secured. Do not ever go onto one of these networks without a VPN. No, you don't want to do that. People are very adept at surfing those open wireless networks, and can quite literally steal your passwords, your user IDs, and a whole lot of other information right out of the sky, right out of the air. Yeah, there's been several. I mean, there are devices that you can get, and you just basically they're sniffers, and all they're doing is they're looking for the traffic. They're looking for the traffic that's going across the public network, and they're able to steal your information that way. So make sure you have a VPN. The VPN is the mechanism to help safeguard you on a Wi-Fi network that's public. But when you're at home, make sure that your Wi-Fi network at home has a strong password on it. Most Wi-Fi networks, when you get the little router from Comcast or from, Total Play or whoever you're using, when you get that router, guess what? It has a password. It's the same password everywhere. Everybody knows that your SSID, or basically the name of your network, is going to have something to do with the password. If you're a tech person, you already know how to break in. It's the easiest thing to break into. So you want to make sure that you, first of all, rename your network. Don't ever go with just the name of the network that comes with the device. And then you want to change the password, because you want to make sure that your password is a strong password to make it more difficult for people to break into. Yes. So let's see. The next one is secure payment methods for online transactions. Make sure that your online transactions are encrypted and secure. How do we know if they're encrypted and secure? When you go to a website and you take a look, if you go to the address bar, where the URL is basically, and you click on it and you want to know whether or not it's a secure site, click on it and then see whether it says HTTP or HTTPS. If it says only HTTP : whatever the name of the website is, if it's just that, then, oh yeah, somebody said Fulton County last week. That's right. Fulton County got hit bad. They got hit really bad. They got hacked. That's why the other day, what was it? All of the computers in Fulton County in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, the computers were down. People couldn't process payments for anything. Basically, all the systems were down. They got hacked. It happens. So as I was saying, make sure you're on a secure website. It should say HTTPS before it says the name of the site or the URL that you are going to. What that S means is that it has a secure layer on it and that your transactions are encrypted. Why do you want encrypted transactions? The same reason why you don't want to just be using, public networks willy-nilly. If it's not encrypted, then a really good hacker can go in and steal your information while it's in transit, quite literally. So if you're trying to pay someone and you're putting your credit card information in, if it's not a secure site, as you're putting your credit card information in, a hacker can go in and see stroke by stroke the information that you're putting in, and they can harvest your information that way. So that is our mini training on cybersecurity. I want to make sure that you guys are doing these things. So number one, what was number one? Number one was strong passwords. Number two is two-factor authentication. Number three is regular software updates. Number four is antivirus software. Number five was firewalls. Number six, backing up your data. Number seven, Wi-Fi, secure Wi-Fi networks. Number eight, let's see, we did VPNs and password managers. And you should check your security settings about once a year. I'll be honest, I check mine once a quarter. And I also change all of my passwords once a year, just to try and remain ahead of all the crazy people. So if you are interested in more content and just more mini trainings like this, where we go kind of and tell you what you need to be doing, or talk about all of the crazy things that are going on in the land of technology as well as artificial intelligence, then please join us over at the Business of Artificial Intelligence. So we've got some upcoming classes on February 1st. We've got creating and monetizing faceless YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok channels with artificial intelligence. I'm kind of excited about that class. It is for our monthly members only. On February 3rd, we have the After Dark series coming up. That's going to be kind of cool. And this one is creating and monetizing adult content using artificial intelligence. So AI has been responsible for making people a lot of money on OnlyFans, on Patreon, on Instagram, and a whole bunch of other sites. And the thing is, you can create an entire adult content empire and no one ever has to know it's actually you. It's completely faceless. Then February 7th through 9th, we have the Introvert's Guide to Online Marketing. So if you're an introvert like me, we're going to show you how to do marketing for your company as an introvert without having to put yourself out there too far. And then later on today, I actually am speaking at a business summit in a couple of hours. It's called Unleash AI for Business Summit, and I'm talking about cutting edge tools for your blogs, your podcasts, and a lot more. On February 9th, we've got another summit, and I'll be talking about using clones to enhance cold email reach. So how to reach new customers, new clients using clones. And then on February 23rd, we have our own summit coming up. So yes, the Business of Artificial Intelligence has its own summit coming up. So I am hoping that you will join us for one or all of these great events. And I am going to say thank you so much for your time. We got it in less than 30 minutes, and that was the goal for today. So I'm going to say ciao for now. I can't wait to see you next Tuesday. Or again, join us over at the Business of Artificial Intelligence, and I will see you soon. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.